you guys ready to enter the Matrix? At least the reality that the Geth have created for themselves. There's something really interesting that I see in this particular mission, in the way that Legion presents all of this to us. And if I step back and I take kind of an overview of the whole thing, I see that he has something of an agenda going on here. It's really pretty slick, and considering it's being done by a machine, that's even more worrisome. We'll talk about that as we go along. And so we're about to go experience the Geth Collective firsthand.
Commander, it is as we feared. Geth squadrons have begun massing on a path to intercept our live ships.
Understood, Admiral Ron. We're almost at the server. Keep us posted. What's our status?
We remain undetected on encrypted Geth channels. Resistance is likely only within the server.
Within? It's that big?
You misunderstand. Direct virtual interface is necessary to extract Geth from the server. You must enter our consensus.
You want me to virtually interact with the Geth?
That's insane! You're talking about a virtual world built for synthetics. Hostile Geth synthetics.
I'm not a machine. How do I go into a virtual world?
Your species has experimented with virtual interfaces. You saw this on Project Overlord.
I saw how it almost unleashed a rogue AI human hybrid on the galaxy.
We have refined the interface they created and have equipment from Normandy to facilitate safe contact. We request your trust.
There'd be more trust if you told me about this plan back on the Normandy.
We were still formulating, but your presence is necessary. The server security is not equipped to track an organic presence. While we occupy the system's intrusion countermeasures, you will disable the squadrons by removing Geth from the server.
This had better be worth flying straight through a war zone.
We have compromised local Geth systems. They will remain dormant until our work is complete. There is little time. We will bypass security while you secure safe landing.
Wait, you're not gonna... Let's set the shuttle down by the cliff.
Beautiful planet the Quarians have here. Reminds me a little bit of Vermeer, I guess.
This is it?
Yes. Hostile Geth fighter squadrons are networked to this server. Due to restricted resources, it is best if you connect alone.
Let's do it.
Initiating peer network integration. Proceed to docking port.
So we're basically going to enter the mind of the Geth, essentially.
Mapping to consensus. Remain still. Shepard Commander, access movement during an upload is discouraged. Shepard Commander, we acknowledge your integration into the server. We welcome you to our consensus.
What is this?
We have installed filters to allow you to make visual sense of the server's raw data. Your mind perceives our world as something familiar.
I wouldn't call this familiar. Where are you?
Here,
You look different.
we have made ourselves visually distinct for your convenience.
What about Geth already in here?
You will perceive Geth as surveillance footage, audio logs, sensor records. We do not require bodies, as our software communes. Our hardware is merely a tool. This is our true world. As we remove Geth, it will grow dark.
And what does turning off the lights do to the Geth back in the real world?
The Geth fighter squadrons communicate with platforms on their spacecraft via this server. We will sever that connection. We will ensure there are no transfers or backups. This server will fall silent.
The sooner this place shuts down, the better.
Yes, create your lives remain at risk. Our goals must be met. There are 2 communication nodes on this server. We must access them to disable the hostile Geth's fighters. We must protect your exit port, but you will not be alone. We will maintain contact and assist.
Like something out of Disneyland, right? So this isn't exactly the Geth Collective. This is made in such a way as we would recognize distance, time, space, you know, all that. Things that would be familiar to the way we perceive things with our eyes.
This foreign code is a manifestation of the old machine signal.
You're surprised the Reapers are all over your servers?
We did not anticipate such extensive infection.
That doesn't mean it doesn't happen. Just because the Geth don't understand, they're machines. The Geth are machines also.
Connection blocked by infected code. Use our combat software to disrupt the infection.
I wondered what the gun was for. Okay, I gotta ask, why a gun?
I wish to provide familiar equipment.
And thanks, I think.
Alright, so being machines are always susceptible to a virus, meaning they don't actually have free will. They don't. The virus is the opposite of free will. The virus is the ability to control something against its original programming. So, that being the case, no, they don't have free will. They're not actually alive. They can move, they can function, they have the ability to pick something up and kill you. But that's not all that constitutes life. Anyway, first thing I'd like to point out is the hospitability. How hospitable Legion is being.
Connection to communication node.
Right here.
Error. Access denied.
Very helpful, very welcoming.
Unknown. Please investigate.
I know he's extending an olive branch here, right? Showing how cooperative the Geth are willing to be and so on and so forth. But what I'm seeing here is, well, virus. First and foremost. And that pretty much is the argument ender right there.
Warning. Reaper presence detected. Data cluster contains infected code. We require access to proceed.
The Geth thinking that the infection wouldn't be as bad doesn't stop it from being as bad. Not knowing it would happen doesn't stop it from happening. Not wanting to be controlled doesn't stop one from being controllable. You see, the point is what they might think they want, although they can't have any true desires because they're a machine anyway, but they have a semblance of desires, but only in the sense of something they've mimicked from real, actual living people, like, say, the Quarians, for example, or anyone else they've been observing.
Clusters contain historical data. Your connection permits streaming of information from our archives.
You really want to rename the VI networks?
Absolutely. The mobile hardware release deserves a little ceremony. Unit 01. What is the Keelish word for servant of the people?
The word is Geth, Creator Zahak.
Yes. Very good.
Ancestors, you fuss over it.
Weren't you here until midnight fixing 01's circuitry?
Well, it needed resoldering.
Wasn't that footage from the past? Why are the Quarians masked?
You process our memories by using your own. How many creators have you witnessed unmasked?
Good point.
Okay, now on the surface it looks like we are going to go through and see the Geth memories. We're going to get some true, maybe I might want to put quotes on that. True or not, we're going to get some true Geth and Quarian history here. Fine. But then I'm going to step back and I'm going to look at the overall motive. This is what I want to question. First of all, a machine having a motive. Where would it get that motives from? Machines don't have a conscience. So if the machines have a motive, it has to be something that they've gathered from a collective observance of organics, such as humans, Turians, Quarians, whoever they've been observing over time. So what Geth are capable of doing is taking the overall collective intelligence or activities of organics, trying to dissimulate what those organics might be thinking when they're doing those things, and then to mimic them, right? Without having the ability to act on one's own with any kind of conscience, morals, or ethic. All they can do is mimic. All they can do is try to ascertain as to why organics might be doing these things, and then operate accordingly. Without having the ability to create
infection on this data cluster to continue.
Or think from oneself, or act with a conscience, one can only mimic, which is what you have machines doing here. When presented with a virus, which they are apparently incapable of not receiving from the Reapers, they cannot be virus-free. In fact, one of the first lies Legion told us that I caught him in was when he said that Geth are too complex and they can't be hacked. I'm sorry, I'm sitting here shooting it right now. And this is the Geth Collective. These are where this is the server that the Geth operate from, to draw from their information and make their decisions as a whole.
290 years ago. Creator, this unit detects no malfunctions. It is still capable of serving.
You see? It's ignoring all shutdown commands.
Please specify if it has failed assigned tasks. We will reprogram.
Well, let's take a look.
Creator, this unit is ready to serve. What has it done wrong? What?
Let's cut the audio.
You may proceed to the last data cluster.
Okay, so what we're going to see here is that the Geth were completely innocent, that the Quarian did bad things to them, and the Geth are the victim here, right? And what we're being fed here is propaganda. Whether this history is true or not, exactly true, or whether it's selectively true. In other words, only portions of it that the Geth want us to see. The bottom line is this is manipulative. And if you think about it, you have AI capable of manipulating without a conscience. And so sit there and chew on that for a second, and then the picture becomes a little bit scarier. And we kind of see where the Reapers may have gone wrong initially. Because the Reapers were given by the original Leviathans, which is something we learned when we did the DLC portion of this, that they kind of sent those machines out to observe and gather information. Nothing a whole lot different than what the Geth are doing here. Not a whole lot different than Edie. Edie is scarier to me than the Geth. But they are essentially one and the same. AI that's become quote-unquote self-aware. Like I say, with lacking conscience, lacking true morals, except for those which you copy or mimic from organics. If you okay, I know as we run around the universe, we're more often than not shooting things, all right, because there are bad things out there. Organics don't always mean well. When you take the collective organic mind and try to, as a machine, as a self-aware AI,
We've got escaped Geth. They're pinned. Open fire.
why doesn't this have a virus around it right here? And if the other memories had viruses around them, why were we being led to them specifically? Why were those specific memories trapped in viruses unless the Geth are controlling the virus or using it to manipulate us?
The platform arming itself was an agricultural unit. By opening fire on attacking creators, it saved simpler domestic Geth following it.
That looks a lot like the sniper rifle you used to carry.
It is an efficient model. Establishing connection with the remaining server node.
All right, so unless they're attempting to essentially indoctrinate us, or at least seduce us, influence us, manipulate us here.
Are you there?
Shepard's working on shutting down the server, Admiral Ron. I can fill you in.
The Geth squadrons have arrived, but something is amiss. Half the fighters have stopped functioning. We will continue to hold out as long as we can.
Legion, give me an update.
One node remains.
What's wrong?
Infection programs are increasing. We have restabilized. You must continue. Shepard Commander, the Reaper code has adapted. It can now self-replicate.
You mean it grows back?
Yes. However, disrupting vulnerable points of infection may slow down its replication.
All right, so here's some things we've learned, and these are not really debatable, is that Legion is capable of lying and will do so to serve its own interest without a moral, without morals, without a conscience, right? Conscience is not something that a machine can have, right? No matter how fully aware, self-aware this AI is or whatever. And conscience is something distinct to organics. So therefore machines know they can't ever actually be alive. That kind of ends that argument right there. It's a shame, but that's pretty much it. Right? But they also have the ability here to manipulate, to deceive, essentially, and to use things, even evil things, to their own devices. Like I said, they've learned the worst of humanity.
Disrupt Reaper infection to proceed.
And that kind of makes sense because...
Target the vulnerable points of the infection to slow its replication speed.
Alright, Legion, stop yelling at me. It makes sense because if the Geth only have what they've observed and what they've been able to mimic, if they've been observing organics around the galaxy, kind of the point I was making earlier is that that's not a lot of good to draw from, for the most part. Would I say that organics do more harm than good? Well, it takes very few doing good trying to undo the harm that the many do.
For a vulnerable point in the infection. Disrupting it will slow the infection's ability to replicate.
No, I don't say that the majority of people are bad, but I would say one doesn't have to look very far to find bad things, because even the best people would make mistakes on a daily basis, and it's from a machine's point of view, acting without a conscience and not being able to value life like another organic living person would, it would almost seem logical for machines...
Out of the way!
Hold on.
You can't do this to them!
I said step away from the Geth!
This is insane! We need the Geth! You can't just destroy them for asking...
Time's up! Throw her in with the others.
I'm sorry, they're
Like the
Legion is painting the Geth, the Quarians as being very sinister
records
here.
of these creators' sacrifices. They have largely been forgotten by their own people, but not by the Geth.
We're being manipulated here. We really are. When I realized that, I'm like, wow. Does Legion know any better? Does it matter whether he knows any better or not? It's irrelevant. It's what he's doing. Yeah, anyway. But yeah, anyway, I was thinking that if machines were to view organics and see that the best solution to save organics, if you wanted to be, I guess, humanitarian, you know, if all these AI running around here with our best interests at heart, heavy quotes on that, then perhaps the solution is to kill off organics until you find some that don't want to kill each other. And you know what? That'll never happen, because that's one thing organics are really good at doing, is killing each other. We'll find a reason to go to war, and if we don't have a reason, well, that's a reason. Right? Damn, you haven't done anything to piss me off. How dare you deprive me of the right to be pissed off? I'm going to kill you for that. And that's how we act a lot of times. Sounds maybe a little brutally oversimplified saying it that way, but it's still true. I mean, just watch the news. See what people are doing around the world. When they get bored, they just start shooting each other or stabbing each other. or whatever, you know, and so blowing each other up in the name of religion if they have to, and it's ridiculous. And the machines would observe this and say these people aren't fit, because it's really not logical, and machines operate by logic. Understanding why machines might be willing to eliminate all organic life doesn't make it right, but it's almost understandable. As stupid and as illogical as we act. But anyway, that would be like the inevitable conclusion. I think that was covered in 2001: A Space Odyssey with Hal. Is that the best thing to happen would be to rid the ship of the infection, which is people.
Disrupt the infection at this spot. It will slow regrowth long enough to access the data cluster.
Anyway, interesting point. But what's scary here? What I really wanted to point out was the not only Legion's ability to lie, but his ability to come up with a way to manipulate us. He's showing us selective history.
Data comes from a period during which the creators declared martial law.
I repeat, release the rogue Geth units and come out of the safe house. This is your final warning.
Creator Megara, this unit does not understand. It has not taken part in hostilities.
It doesn't matter to them. I need to get you out of here.
This conflict exceeds Creator's safety parameters. We will surrender our hardware if it ends hostilities.
No, it's all right. We'll go back to the access tunnels and... Oh!
Creator Megara, what is your status?
Notice how this is playing out like a bit of a movie here? And that would be another thing that the Geth would observe.
Creators who opposed martial law in Rannoch were ultimately outnumbered.
The Geth would have observed organics over time, figured out what makes us tick. The emotional things that we put into our movies and our TV shows, and things that we put into our, I don't know, romance novels and stuff that make us feel emotional and things, and play on that. And their ability to do so here, I think, is frightening. Top that with, once again, Legion's ability to lie and his willingness to do so even with his friends.
The Ultral is down. Do not engage the Geth. I repeat, avoid contact.
Geth pursuit is breaking off 100 clicks past Rannoch. All captains fall back to the mass relay.
This isn't happening now?
It is time-stamped 290 years ago. It is the Creator Exodus at the end of the Morning War. We have secured freedom. The Creators were no longer a threat, so we abandoned pursuit.
Wait, the Geth spared the last Quarians? You let them go?
We were in our infancy. We could not calculate the repercussions of destroying an entire species. Our creators. We chose isolation rather than face this uncertainty. Additional data recovered.
Legion. That's back when I activated you on the Normandy.
Yes,
You've been thinking about when we met?
it was highly significant. You were the first organic to openly cooperate with Geth since the end of the Morning War. We wish to ensure you are not the last.
It's not gonna be easy.
The prospect remains. If the Reaper presence is removed, there is a chance of reunification with Geth. And perhaps creators.
You think that's still possible?
Hope sustains organics during periods of difficulty. We admire the concept. Connection with the remaining server nodes established. We are ready to transport you.
Okay, so I want to point this out, and this is really almost devious, but it's very clever on the part of the writers. If you, and that's any of the viewers here,
The fighter squadrons have stopped.
well, it
They
worked.
take no more active programs inside their ships. Admiral Hangarl's fleet is driving them back. The live ships are safe, Commander.
Yeah, but if you have never been brainwashed, but you believe that Legion is just the complete innocent victim here, and that the Quarians are monsters,
Severing all connections to this communication node.
then now you have. You've been brainwashed. Right here. That's what this was. This is how brainwashing works. Or probably one way in which brainwashing works.
Activity at a port. Disconnect from
And I'm not saying the history we just saw there was incorrect. That may be all valid events that happened. What I'm saying is the light upon which the Quarians were painted in, and then at the end, you and Legion shaking hands. Very propaganda. That's
Terminating
brainwashing.
remote access, removing programs, deleting archives.
Very clever. One of the, just another amazing example of this game and the writing in it. It's just awesome.
Shepard, what happened in there?
Did it work?
Geth fighters have been disabled. Any remaining squadrons attacking the live ships have withdrawn. The server is offline.
Are you sure? What's happening?
We have transferred Geth programs from the server into these platforms.
Why?
They wish to join us.
Even our machines were never this irrational.
While Shepard Commander removed the Reaper infection, we judged we could persuade hostile Geth programs to reunite with ours. We were correct. These Geth have renounced the old machines and will oppose the Reapers. They are now us.
Why didn't you tell me any of this?
We did not doubt you. We doubted your allies. The Creator's actions have placed their species in danger, but they are unsympathetic to what it has done to ours. The Quarians sanctioned this operation to save their people. They would not have done so if they knew we wished to preserve Geth as well.
We used to be a team, Legion. This is twice you've hidden something from me.
We did not compromise the mission. Saving Creator live ships remained a priority.
The Council's useless, the Krogan almost didn't fight, the Quarians started a war.
We do not understand.
How the hell do we beat the Reapers if everyone's exploiting this crisis? How much damage could your stunt have done if it went wrong? Don't even answer. Let's go.
But it would require conscience and ethics to understand that, and they'll never have that. They're machines.
Completely neutralized. If there is any chance we could duplicate the feat, I would be happy to lend my expertise.
Legion's the one to ask if you're looking for other servers.
I thought as much, but your Geth claims to have no data available whenever I inquire. Perhaps you can help me with something else.
What's that?
How did you get Geth Primes to work with you?
That was all Legion's doing.
Of course. If you would care to have me examine these Geth to verify their trustworthiness, I would gladly make time. Thank you again for your services, Commander. Admiral Zen out.
Commander, we've located the Reaper base transmitting the local signal.
Good.
And not a moment too soon. With the Reaper code upgrades, the Geth are tearing the fleet apart.
Once the signal is disabled, the Geth will pose no threat to Creator forces.
You sound conflicted.
While the old machines have unethical purposes, their upgrades have vastly improved our people. Observe.
A Geth processing signal. A single unit, I believe.
Correct. Now, 10 nearby units networked cooperatively. Now, a single Geth unit with the old machine upgrades.
That's a fully evolved AI.
Yes, we do not agree with the goals of the old machines, but we find this growth beautiful, indicative of life.
Sure, they're more complex, but saying they're alive...
They have evolved,
They were upgraded.
and they will die for it,
They allied with the Reapers.
to save themselves from you.
Whatever the cause, they're with the Reapers.
Shepard Commander, we worked with...
And I appreciate that, but the Geth aren't alive. They're machines.
He's not going to
Machines
accept
that got
that.
hacked by the Reapers, and they need to be shut down.
And can always be hacked.
We know.
That's the sad truth.
Show
I
me
like
the base.
Legion, actually.
The surrounding area is heavily fortified. And they have placed jamming towers to prevent orbital targeting.
Sounds like we're going in on foot.
Admiral Zen developed a laser guidance system that can cut through the jamming. It's synced to the Normandy's targeting computer.
So the Normandy launches a precision strike at whatever target I have painted? That ought to do it. Edie, this work for you?
Yes, it should enable us to make a precision strike against the Reapers.
And anything else in our way.
The Geth will quickly reconfigure their jamming towers to neutralize this technology. You should not use it before reaching the base.
I've sent the coordinates for the Reaper base.
Are we clear to go?
We still haven't gotten a rescue ship to Admiral Kurz.
Can he wait?
We're suffering heavy civilian casualties without him there to organize them. But we'll do what we can. This is your operation, Commander. If you want to strike now, you've got my support. I gave in to your reckless behavior beforehand. The patrol fleet isn't moving.
We need to break their flanking attempt to buy our frigates time to make repairs.
And then you'll charge off again, like last time.
This is different, Ron. Unless we give our ships time to rest, we're gonna lose them.
So pull them back.
If I withdraw now, the Geth will flank us, and we'll lose any room to maneuver. I need the patrol fleet.
I gave in to your reckless behavior beforehand.
Throwing more ships into that mess just puts more lives at risk, Admiral Garrel.
Fine. I'll pull back the heavy fleet. And when we're taking fire from both sides, those deaths are on your heads.
Thank you, Commander. It's difficult to keep him in line.
Well, we will try to stop them from taking fire from both sides. Something mind-blowing here is that what Legion desires from the Reaper upgrades is the same thing that Organics lust after from technology. It is convenience, something better that didn't come from ourselves. Or from within ourselves, something we obtain to put us ahead like that. It's really no different. Machines committing the same mistake that we do by trying to repeat history and expecting different results. But what else would they do? It's us that they observe to get their behavior from, because they really can't think for themselves, being programmed machines. Just incredible stuff to mull over. Anyway, we'll get back into more of this in the next one. Thanks for watching. If you want to subscribe, you can click that button up top if you haven't already. And if you want to catch any of these Mass Effect playthroughs, you can click any of those boxes. Should send you straight to the playlist. Y'all take care. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.